Hey, what's up? So this is my first episode in my trick tip series. Now this is not a full tutorial. This is more or less just a couple tips to help you improve your tricks that I'm not teaching but just giving advice to. And also, if you're struggling, with someone else's tutorial, these tips might help you. That's also my goal, so do not get upset if it's not like a full tutorial, that's what you clicked for. So, without further ado, we're going to do the first one. We're going to do our first episode, gainers. Alright, gainers. Alright, so the first tip is less of a tip. I recommend you have a solid backflip. You don't need a backflip, but it helps because you're just basically doing a backflip off one foot. So having a regular backflip off both feet would help you naturally. It just kind of makes sense. Second tip. So there's two popular ways I've seen learning gainers. I've seen what looks like, I've heard it called a slant gainer or a cheat gainer, where you go much more off like a side where you're like, well, that, and you just kind of gradually, you start off really flat and then you gradually make it vertical. The problem I don't like with that is that you tend to get a much flatter gainer, and that's a lot harder to get proper switch out. If you go for gainer switches, and if you go for corks, you get a much flatter cork, which if you're going for a flat cork, that's fine. But if you're just going for a gainer, you have to remember this is a backflip off one foot. It's not just it's not a backswing into a beat kick. Basically, the best way to explain it, how they look like. So first tip is to go more for the vertical, like kick straight over. Alright, so this next tip is something that's more or less something that helped me, and that was not actually doing a J-step. The problem with a lot of people with J-step is they tend to do it wrong. At least first time they tend to do it wrong. And what helped me was, instead of doing a J-step, walking just straight forward and just doing like that. That way I get a lot more vertical flip. It just go. Because whenever I would just kick straight over, and it helped me get a lot more of a back flip instead of a backswing beat kick. Alright, so next one is, like I kind of mentioned a while ago, was try to kick more straight over. That helps me, but a lot of people tend to kick around shoulder to head. Around that area is fine, but I usually just kick straight over. At least that's what I aim for, at least. The other thing is, remember this is still a backflip, so remember to still set with your chest as you go up. Try to get as much height as you can when you're just learning it. Of course, a lot of people find the flash version easier. Personally, to me, I think like after a while it's just better to learn to land both feet at a time, because that way, to me, it makes more sense that you'd be able to land switch, because you can already land both at the same time, so it makes no sense why you wouldn't be able to land switch. Gainer switches. When you go for gainer switches, I would recommend to switch right around 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, around that area. Any earlier than that, you're cutting off your flip. Any later than that, you're probably not going to have a big enough eagle to swing through, or it's just going to land. You're not going to. Any later than that, you're just not going to be able to make it around, really. Part about gainer switches is to keep them low. Have you ever seen, a gymnast or a tumbler, whenever they do continuous back whips, they tend to keep them very flat and going back. Now, whenever you're learning a gainer, I recommend trying to shoot straight up, not shoot back. Whenever you're doing gainer switches, it's alright to go a little bit back because it keeps the flip low and it keeps less impact. Whenever you have more impact, it's all on one leg. It's just harder to swing. It's easier to keep it all momentum low and compact. That's the best way I can explain it. Alright, so this next one is not really much for learning them. Is if you already have a gainer. It's just to experiment with different setups. You can try your nigga step or Euro step, whatever you want to call it. You can try pivot, even standing. And the ones I love to do is standing. The point is to use as many setups as you can and just try to master it if you can already gainer and don't exactly have the best. Alright, and this last one is for moon kicks. The best place I found to do the moon kick is around 12 o'clock. The 12 o'clock. This is where I found I get the biggest kick, and sadly I don't have any footage of me doing a moon kick. Really good, because the other ones I have are pretty tired. For moon kicks, I recommend throwing the hook kick right at the 12 o'clock. That's just where I found it generally gets the biggest hook kick while not sacrificing much flip. Because what I found is if you kick earlier, you get a much more of a B kick, you know, a backswing B kick. Any later, it's just kind of an Arabian, gainer Arabian. Which reminds me, if you're going for a moon kick, it helps to have a gainer Arabian. Now it's kind of like saying it helps to do a B kick if you can do a B twist, but it's just kind of, it helps. Alright, so that's all for this episode. If you have any other suggestions where you want me to, do trick tips on, leave them down in the comments, and that's all. And I'll just end this episode with just more clips of the gainer.